Hi, I'm Jim. I'm a full-time eBay reseller. I've been full-time for 3 years, reasonably successful. I sell a variety of products. Used to concentrate on purely video games, but now I do clothing, I do electronics, I do sports equipment, I do car parts, etc, etc. So I've been doing it for 3 years, love it. I also YouTube, as you can see, here I am on YouTube. I've been doing that now for over a year. I do various reselling related videos on things that I buy, what I sell it for, and various other reselling related videos. Today I thought I'd do one to help out people who are new to eBay or are thinking of selling on eBay, or indeed are existing eBay sellers. And I'm going to give you my top 10 tips for successful eBay. Okay, so tip 1. This is really for new sellers. If you're a new seller and you're thinking of selling on eBay, do it. Do it now. Do it as quickly as possible. New sellers, especially, well, new sellers have restrictions on their selling limits. So in order to get more, I think it's 20 listings a month, but if you want to be listing 50, 60, 70 items a month, you need to go through that process of getting eBay basically to trust that you are a seller and that you can sell proficiently on their platform. So do it. Do it now. Get started. The quicker you do it, the sooner you'll be at a higher level and be able to sell more products. So do it now. New sellers again. Tip 2. Start small. Okay, in long term, you might want to be a full-time reseller. You might want to make X amount of money every month on eBay. Start small. If you're thinking of just dabbling in reselling, start selling stuff from around your house. Everybody's got stuff in their house that they don't no longer use, they don't want, clothes that don't fit, etc, etc. Start selling that. Start building up your feedbacks as a seller by selling stuff that's yours. That's easy. You can do it on a private account. You don't need to register for any business or anything other than that. I'm not going to go into details on that. Maybe I will in another video. But you can do that on any account. You don't need a special business account. You can sell anything that you own on eBay. If you are buying stuff to resell, so go into a charity shop like I do, buy a shirt, put it on eBay, you have to be registered as a business. So just think about that. Start off small. You're a private seller, sell your own stuff, build it up, build it up, build it up. When you get to a certain level and you think, right, now's the time, I think I can go out there, I can buy stuff to sell. You're going to have to set up a business account then. You have to. So start small, dream big, and you will get big eventually. Tip number 3. This relates to all eBay sellers. Well, not all eBay sellers, because some already do it, obviously. But my third tip for successful selling is photos. Everybody searching on eBay looks at photos. It's the first thing they see with their product, with your product. Make sure that photo's good. Nice, clean, crisp photo. Use a plain background or your carpet if it's clean or something, so there's no interference with the picture. You don't want a picture, say, of me, and I've got this in the background, because it's stuff that's distracting from your product. When you start off, maybe use a sheet or a tablecloth, something like that. Place your items on it, take the photo. But when you start to get bigger, then's the time you may have to start thinking about investing in your photos. By that, I mean lighting, background, and camera. Lighting is relatively cheap. You can pick up decent photography lights off eBay for next to nothing, really. Or you can just make sure you've got either a really, really well-lit room. I'm in my conservatory at the moment and the sun's out, so it's nice and bright. Or you've got some decent lights already in a room that can, show your product to the best it can be. Background, nice, again, clean and crisp. I use a photo box. You can see one of my previous videos, I reviewed my new SD shooting tent. It's amazing. It makes photos look brilliant. I haven't started using it yet on my listings, but I will be soon. I've also made myself a background, again, in a previous video, for larger items where I've used some laminate flooring as a background and then wallpaper as on a desk. And it looks really, really good. It looks professional, and it makes my store look uniform, and it makes my photos the same. So someone visiting my store will be able to recognise it from the background. Number 3 in 3 is camera. Don't use an old 1 megapixel Fujifilm from 1990. It's not going to take the picture as well as it could. Phones nowadays are brilliant. You can't knock them. I use my iPhone X for most of my photos because the quality is superb. But sometimes a dedicated camera can be worthwhile. You don't have to go out and buy a Canon G7X or a Canon 10D DSLR. But just think about what you're going to use to take your photos. A lot of people like to use a separate camera and then upload to PC and do that. Personally, I find it easier using my phone and then just listing straight away on eBay. But just think about what you're going to use, and at some point you may need to make some investment in what you use to increase the quality of your photos. Number 4, running out of fingers here, is your title of your item. People search on eBay and they search, and your title is what they're searching for. Make sure your title includes what it needs to include, what the item is, condition if needs be, if it's used, if it's new, brand new, if it's got keywords that could link to it, then do it. Like if you're selling a Fred Perry polo shirt, for instance, maybe put in their mod, or maybe put in their sports or something, so people are gonna find it, because people need to see your items in order to buy them. So do your title as good as you possibly can. I tend to do them in caps. I don't know why, it stands out. Number 5, description. Description does not have to be long. It doesn't have to be an essay about about what the item is, but it needs to include what it is, who makes it, if there's any defects or any marks or anything, you need to include them. Sizes if possible, and any other relevant information, when it was made, who made it, etc., depending on what item it is. But you need to include any information you can. If there is any marks or damage, make sure they're on your listing, because trust me, buyers are very picky and they will pick holes in anything. So if you've not included that this golf club has a small scratch on the head, they will raise a return saying this is not as described, there's a head. If you've included that in your description, you're covered, and then, you know, the person who buys it knows what they're getting. They know if there's a small mark, they know if there's a small defect, they know if it's brand new, they know if it's perfect. So make sure you get that information in your description. Number 6, list. Keep building up your shop, if you like, your store, your page, your selling account, your followers, by listing consistently on eBay. I aim for listing in the region of 60 to 80 new items every week on eBay. It keeps people coming to my store. It keeps new people seeing my products, and they might click on, you know, my shop and then go and look at other things, and it increases sales, it increases turnover, and it increases people coming to your platform. So keep listing. Entwined with that, keep an eye on your listings as well. It used to be a lot easier. There used to be 30-day cycles. So you'd list an item, for instance, on a buy it now for 30 days. After 30 days, if it didn't sell, you could then relist, change your price if needs be, change your photos or what have you to get it sold. You can't do that anymore. It's a rolling good till cancelled on any buy it now product. But keep an eye on them. If you see something that's been on there for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, do something about it. Change the price, change the photos. Maybe decide, okay, this isn't going to sell. donate it, take it off your shop. You don't want dead stock everywhere. You need it to be fresh and you need movement on your products. So keep listing and also keep an eye on those listings. Number 7, customer services. Customer service is important in anything, and it's one thing that people are really, really, really on top of. If you don't meet your customers' requirements, then you won't be successful as a seller. I can fully vouch here that sometimes my customer service is not as good as I could make it. There's reasons behind this. I'm not going to go into that right now, but do your best at everything. Keep your promises. If you say you're going to dispatch an item within 2-3 days, dispatch it within that time. Don't make it a week. Don't make it 10 days. Make sure you're honest. Don't list something as this is in excellent condition if you know that it's really worn and really used and it isn't. You have to tell the truth, if you like, in your items. If it's got, as I've said previously on other ones, if it's got marks, defects, explain them, photo them, use them. You'll get questions from people on eBay asking, what's the size, what's the condition, even though you've said it in the description. Will you take this for it? Will you do this for it? Etc, etc. Just make sure you answer them. Don't get me wrong, sometimes you get absolutely ridiculous questions. I get some very random ones. Sometimes I don't reply if it's not a meaningful question. But if you are getting regular questions, just respond to them. Utilise things like the seller app on eBay, because you get notifications on your phone. It's easy enough to just quickly check the message. I know if you're working full time, it's maybe not as easy to do it straight away, but get back to people as quickly as possible. If someone is looking at your item and has got a question, they want to know, you want to get back to them before they can go and get the answer from somebody else on a similar item and therefore not buy yours. So just keep up to date with your questions and respond as necessary. Number 8. I think we're on 8, aren't we? Oh. Shipping. Make sure you ship stuff as quickly as possible. People want something now. Things like Amazon Prime and things like that mean that if you order stuff today on Amazon, you get it tomorrow. People want that speed. Okay, you're not probably going to be able to get stuff to people next day. I don't profess to get to people stuff the next day. My description and my handling times are clearly set as 2 to 3 days, and my shipping is 2 days. So people are going to have to wait. Make sure that's clear though. If you put down fast and free, you're going to send it next day and you don't, people are not going to be happy. They're going to leave you negative feedbacks. They're going to probably return items and they're just not going to come back to your shop. If you promise them that you will ship it next day, that's fine, and they'll receive it in 2 to 3 days, and they do, and that's fine. You are committing to what you say you will deliver and when you will deliver it. Just make sure it's within your capabilities to meet those standards. Don't say that you can ship it same day for delivery next day if you can't. Just make sure you do it as quickly as you possibly can. Number 9. Nearly done now. Only one left. Well, 2, because there's this one and the next one. No. Research. Get to know your products. Get to know what you're selling. If you want to specialise in one area, that's fine. Personally, I think it's best to diversify as much as you can. Gain knowledge in other areas that you're not familiar with. Watch YouTube videos. People give really good information on YouTube. Use Google as much as you can to find out as much information about different things. As we said, I started on just gaming stuff mostly, but now I'm proficient and I've got sufficient knowledge of various other specialities because I've done my research and I know the items. So I know when I go to a car boot, for instance, if I see some lights off a classic Mini, I know roughly how much they're going to be worth because I've put my time in and I've done my research. Diversifying is also, I'm including that within this tip. Having one product that sells consistently every single day is brilliant, but that's going to be really hard to find and it's not going to last forever. So diversification is a good tip. Get to know different markets, have a variety of items in your shop, have a variety of different items for sale at any time. It brings different people to your store and it brings about more sales. Now, finally, number 10. Last one. Is it a good one? Let's see. It all adds up. That's what I've said. Number 10. And that means, in my eyes, it doesn't matter if you sell one item for £100 or if you sell 10 items for £10. It's still the same amount of money. Yes, there'll be more work in shipping 10 items, but you get there. You get to your targets. Personally, I have a sales turnover objective, if you like, of £100 a day. I don't care if that's one item. I don't care if it's 15. I need to get to that level. I need that level to pay my bills and to be able to live at the level I want to live at. A lot of people will say, oh yeah, but I only want to stock items in my shop that are over £25 retail and etc, etc. Well, that's all well and good, but you've got to make sure that you can consistently get those sales. For me, I've got items in my shop at £1.69. I've got items in my shop at £500-600. That's how I like it personally, and I think that works. I get numerous sales every single day. I can't remember the last time I didn't have any a day without sales, and I'm including days like Christmas Day there. I still get sales on days like that. They add up. Look after the small items and keep, churning over the small items. The big items will look after themselves. Something that's sitting in your shop at £500 might sit there for 6 months, but eventually it will sell. But you need to keep turnover coming in. Okay, if you're selling something at £2, you're not making a huge amount of money, but you're creating turnover. You're creating movement on your account. You're creating new feedbacks, if you like. You're creating more opportunities for people to see your item and then click on see sellers' other items, maybe buy something that is 30, 40, 50 pounds. So for me, have a good variety of different priced items in your shop. It works for me. I know a lot of people disagree with it, and that's absolutely fine. All people work differently and all people will achieve things differently. For me, it works. So that's my tip. There we go. That's my top 10 current tips for eBay. I hope they're useful. I hope they will help people increase sales somewhere. And I hope I've got through to some people and will make some changes and then see increased sales and increased profitability. That's what we all want at the end of the day. So thanks for watching. Please like, please subscribe if you haven't already. And stay tuned for more hauls, sales updates and how to reseller videos. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.